I really believe that advisors really need to help clients build up their wealth equally as important as helping them do protection. And that's why I'm giving this whole segment away for free. And before you get there, help me smash the like button and press on subscribe, especially if you don't want to miss out on more content that can help you in your practice. Today's topic is how to build a 10 million asset under management, because asset under management is passive income. At the same time, it takes the pressure away from doing quick sales. Asset under management is long term. You're building the books, managing your clients' accumulation, and eventually helping clients consume their investment pot for retirement. That is good financial practice 101. There are always a few stumbling blocks, and the most obvious one which I'd like to share with you today is this. You need to understand the minimum that you would like to accept for a client's investments. I repeat again, you need to understand your minimums. Why do I say so? When I first started out my practice, I was quite happy to suggest investments to my clients and friends, and when they invested 5,000 or 10,000, I felt so happy. I would have an Excel sheet, I'll record down how much I brought in, and every 10,000 is a good step in the right direction. But little did I know that I really need to understand this concept of minimums, because if not, the practice cannot be built to $10 million. I was stagnating at 1-2 million for many years. I had, of course, initial family members who invested. That's how you get to 1 million, very easy. But 1 to 2 million, it took me very long. But then once I understood this, I understood how to bring in the right customers to get to a more viable status. You know, sometimes when customers ask you, what is a minimum that you are willing to accept? Could it be $5,000? Many times without proper training, advisors take on the case, happy to make a new client, hopefully thinking they can upsell in future. But I'd like to suggest you change away that point of thought. Why so? Because if a customer is giving $5,000, testing you on your investment, it is actually not the right customer to accept. Let me show you with some numbers first before the qualitative portions. What can $5,000 do over 15 years if we compound it at say 5%? Do you know you only grow to $10,000? Is $10,000 going to change the life of a customer? No, right? That is not going to be meaningful when it comes to retirement. $10,000 is going to last someone's expenses for a couple of months only, that's all. And very often, customers with this mindset, oh, I give you $5,000 to try, I'm your friend, I'd like to support you. 5,000 here, 5,000 there. I'd like to explain the detriment first. The detriment to customer is that if this customer is continuing on this path, which if you don't intervene, you don't change it, the customer is going to have $25,000 all over the place. The books are going to be messy. When the financial crisis hit, performance drops, no one is there to advise them how to tidy up. So advise clients to change that mindset. Don't have $5,000 everywhere and keep testing. Advise clients properly and get them to change that mindset. The second thing is that on your terms as an advisor, $5,000 is not going to be viable. If you accept it, you are going to see you have customers that you may not have the right motivation to keep track over long term. We all have a limited number of time, limited amount of questions we can handle. If you pick on too many 5,000 customers, you realize to get to $10 million is a long path. It is not going to be viable for you. That's why the number one thing that I would like to help is to prevent advisors from leaving the industry because they are not viable, because they practiced it wrongly. These are things that I believe should be taught as basics, but very few are doing so. So as always, if you have heard something different already, help me smash the like button. But it's slightly different if the customer has $5,000 and wants to do $1,000 per month. You have a different situation already. Now we're talking about long-term planning, long-term accumulation. Do you know how different it is from the 10,000 scenario that we've looked at just now? With $5,000 and $1,000 per month, right now a customer can potentially build in 15 years almost $300,000. $300,000 is nothing to shout about. In Singapore, you can't even buy a house with it. But this is concrete numbers. This is viable amounts that dividends, when it pays out, is going to be a lot more meaningful already. So what you need is to advocate change. $1,000 a month from customer is them passively getting on dollar cost averaging and building the portfolio with a long-term vision. You see the difference? Previously, a customer was trying out. There's no loyalty. This is a customer that's willing to stick through thick and thin because you have set the right framework to acquiring this customer. Again, let's put the math. If you have acquired a customer with a $5,000 investment pot, you need 2,000 of them to reach $10 million. That is not attainable by any advisor with a finite number of time only. So the path to $10 million in asset under management, you need to acquire the right customers that are big enough in size and willing to commit to building a pot that is meaningful. So how do we handle a customer that comes in and say, oh, we only have $5,000 recommended by a friend, or a fresh graduate that you really want to help for whatever reason? I've seen these cases before. They've came in through my social media platforms. What I usually do is I challenge them to reach to a 20,000 pot first before we get on to business to discuss deeper what can be done to build it to a 6-figure pot. So again, if a customer comes at 5,000, I strongly suggest you show them the path and challenge them to come back 6 months later, 12 months later. You set a schedule on your Google Calendar to review with them to see the progress. If they have made progress in 6 to 12 months, you know they can make progress with you down the years. So it's a win-win. That is the way you handle a customer who doesn't have the right investment size that fits what you're looking for. The second secret to how to build towards this $10 million asset under management is this method of challenging customers on big goals. You know, when it comes to retirement, people are thinking about $1 million. Let's put $1.5 million, because on my main channel I've shared before, $1.6 million can help most households get to retirement in 15 years. So let's put that number at $1.5 million. Get the customer to anchor to that. Once they are seeing that, hey, I need to get there, what is the path? We're working backwards. We're not talking about, is this product better than that? Is this product's historical performance good enough for me? We are not going to address that, because what we want is goals-based investing. Now, if you've heard something, jot it down. If you want to be serious in advisory business, in managing clients' retirement pot, go with a goals-based approach. So how to get to $1.5 million? Very simple, work backwards. Let me give you a formula right now. $100,000 seed funding with $5,000 a month for 15 years. $5,000 a month. The next objection you may have, or the next objection you're thinking is, $5,000 a month is serious money. Not many customers have that free cash flow available. That is why you need to curate the right customers. But this is just a starting formula. It can be 200,000 seed funding and 3,000 per month to reach there. But again, you need to find the customers with the right budget that you believe you are well aligned to serve them for the next 15 years. Not small customers that you run out of capacity to serve well. That is lose-lose. So look for the right situation, take on the right business only, and you realize that you have a right approach to building towards 10 million. So coming to here, I'd like to give you yet another nugget of wisdom. You may be thinking, how do I know whether customers can afford $5,000 a month or not? That's a great idea, but that part I can't get by. You know, I wish that someone had shared this earlier to me in my advisory practice. I took very long to learn that. I made too many mistakes, wasted too much time on things. Let me show you the steps. To understand affordability, you need to know the customer, correct? Affordability, you need to know the customer. We all have been taught that. But if you look at the step before, why would a customer let you know about it? The customer needs to tell you, correct? I have earnings of $18,000 a month combined with my spouse. I can afford $5,000 a month free cash flow. That is when the customer tells you the earning so that you know the customer and you understand the affordability. The path to letting them tell you, that's a preceding step. That is, you need to prove your competence. You need to prove that you are qualified. You need to tell them and show to them and display to them with enough time that you know what you're doing. So if you are qualified, customer is willing to tell you. Just like a doctor. A doctor is qualified, customer is willing to tell them because they have been proven based on their title. But advisors, you need to earn it through sharing your knowledge or getting referred to the right people. So you need to be qualified. Customer will tell you. Customer will tell you, you know the customer. Once you know the customer's full financial plans, you can understand whether they can afford that amount that you're proposing or not. So there's a flow to things. Work on the first step, prove to customers that you're qualified, and you realize a lot of the summing box you can do. And with that, getting to $10 million is just a matter of time. If that's enough from here, check out previous videos I've done before. This one, for example, shares on how I actually presented using a very simple concept to bring in an initial 500,000 from customers back when I was much younger. That video maybe might help you in your journey also, and I'll see you there. Take care as always. Goodbye.